Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Talk with the Titans, live from London, UK, all the way to the US of A and worldwide. I'm your host, Kalam L, and this is Titans TV exclusive with my brother, Medicine Man, Gabs in the building. Oh, man. Peace to you, King.
Yeah, buddy, we here. The medicine is real. We deal with that sickness. Healing the world, healing the people. You feel me? But we here, baby. We live. We live.
We live, baby. We live. Oh, man. Let me see. Where you at, man? Notification gang. Let me know that you're in the building. Gang, 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 gang. Just hit up your likes right now. Hit up the likes right now. Because we here, baby. We here. I know I see you. You see me too. And you already know, man. Look at it. Look at it. Look at this. Y'all going to be rocking this. Look at this. Look at it. Ooh, 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 ooh. Our story fashion, baby. Our story fashion, baby. If you want to know, if you want to start repping your logos, your symbols, your icons, all of that good stuff, please jump aboard and start repping your stuff and go and visit outstoryfashion.com. Oh man, let's get it, King. Let's get it. What you saying? Talk to me.
I'm ahead, G. I'm here. You know what I mean? I'm just here chilling. You told me, listen, let's get this live show popping. We're here. Let's get it popping. Let's bring some information to the people.
Oh man, let's get the medicine for real. You know what? Let me start sharing out the link. Obviously I'm not sharing it out like that, but let me start sharing the link. I see certain man like Asar. Where is Asar? I see him in the chat room. I don't even know why he's in the chat room. This brother needs to be on the show right now. The way he's there. Like, I apologize for everybody who I didn't holler at. Like, boy, you seen the show is live, so let's just get it in it. That's all I'm gonna say to you. Let's just get it. Let's get it in, family. Man, like Uhuru as well is in the building. Peace to you. You know what? Yeah. Oh yeah. What am I forget? I'm not even forgetting. I already know this. Do you know what the date is today? You know what the date is today?
What's the date, bro?
Today's September the 11th, baby.
September the 11th. Oh snap! Yeah.
See, and most people, yeah. Most people, all that draws their mind to, yeah, is September the 11th. That's 9/11. Nah, G, nobody cares about 9/11 right now. 9/11 for us, yeah, is our Ethiopian New Year. 9/11 to us is our Kemetic New Year as well. How you mean, family? This is the new year. Y'all didn't know this? Y'all didn't know this? This is the new year. Fam, y'all need to get in touch, man. Y'all need to get in touch. So shout outs to all my Ethiopians, everybody else that's part of, like, that eastern side of things. Yeah, shout outs to you, shout outs to you, shout outs to you. My Coptic, shout outs to you as well, man. Jeez, we're about to go in. I see content over everything's in the building as well. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. So let's get it, man. Let's get it. Yo, Asar, you saying, King?
Imhotep, Senu, my brother Medicine Man, my brother Kalam, we ready to drop that bomb. Matter of fact, oh baby, we live, baby, man. It's Titans TV. Gotta get you, we live, baby. So what to do, man? The next lifestyle, we holding it down.
Jeez.
Muslims trying to be rematched. Come home then. Ain't nothing wrong. Muhammad ran over there when he needed guidance too. Come on home.
So I'm saying, I'm literally opening up the gates. Okay, I'm opening up the gates. Let me say this. I'm opening up. Yeah. What's that thing called? You know, when Deir el Medina. What's that thing called? The workhouses. What's that workhouse called again? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Say it one more time, Mark.
You know, in Deir el Medina, like, you got the builders, the workhouses. What's that called?
It's escaping me.
I forgot.
I know what you're talking about too.
I good forgot the name, Good forgot the name. Don't get it twisted. I know I see a lot of my brothers just complaining. I didn't say I was opening up the temple gates. I didn't say that. Okay, I said I'm opening up. Okay, I'm opening up the workhouse. This is the workhouse. This is the lodge. Okay, I'm opening up the lodge, the builder's lodge. Yeah. So brothers and sisters from outside of the Kemetic, you know, culture and philosophy, could come in, man, come in. Just wet your feet a little bit, touch the ground, see what Kemet is feeling like, see if you can merge it with your own. And, you know, whenever you're ready to make that full step, then you can come over to the temple side. But for now, come into the lodge, man. Come into the lodge. We're welcoming you, man. You can have it. Just like you have Greek philosophy, you can have Chinese Confucius philosophy. We study this stuff. I don't know. Like, let me know. Anybody else on the panel studies outside of African philosophy? Does anybody here study outside of African philosophy?
Yeah, you're damn right. You have to. It only makes sense to, bro. You know, you gotta study. You gotta study all the philosophies. You know what I've been getting in a lot too lately? The ancient Chinese, that type of stuff there. Do you know what I mean? I've been going in, dealing with all their dynasties and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Another good culture to deal with, the Greek, is very big. I still got to get back into that as well. You also got the Americas, all that stuff down there, and the Hindu, the Indian. That's another big one. So there's a lot of work out there still. I'm not even gonna lie. I even deal with the flipping the Nordic, you know, them people up there. I'm talking about the Caucasus Mountains. Them people,
man, like Odin,
yeah?
Odin, son.
Thor, them man.
Thor.
Odin.
Hercules.
Trust me.
What's that? What's my brother called again? Loki. Man, like Loki.
Loki. Trust me, the trickster.
You know, who watches the Vikings? Who watches?
Yeah.
Come on, Vikings.
Ragnarok. Hey, come on. Listen, man. See, we hear you. We appreciate other people's, like, I don't know. Most people think like, oh, as soon as they hear the word Kemet, they just like, it's people outside of ourselves. All they think is racism. That's what they think. I don't know why they think it. Yeah, but I guess it's you know, somebody coined the term the other day, Afrobia. That's what it is. Afrobia. You know, you have the term Islamophobia and you have the term arachnophobia. This is Afrophobia. Yeah, this fear of African people uniting. That's what it is. It's a fear of African people uniting. And we don't care like that. We don't care to be oppressing anybody else. Yeah, we're here. We love ourselves. We have pride in ourselves. Yeah, and we don't really care about you guys like that, that we want to oppress you guys. We would rather learn from other people's history, culture, civilizations, anything else that can actually better us as human beings, make us well-rounded. So we study these other things because it helps us to grow as people, and how to relate to other people. We don't have that separation psychology that some other people have, and they have to guard themselves like, no, I can't learn about other people's philosophy or other people's theologies. It's just not right. It's just not right. I'm going to go to hell if I do. No, we don't have that type of mad psychology. So let's get it in, family. Let's get it in today. Let me just quickly check the comments. Again, if you lot want my attention today, yeah, all you guys have to do is just tag Titans TV, okay, and pose your question to either me, Gabs, or my Senna, my Saber, Asar. So that's all you have to do. Okay, Betty said Negrophobia. That's it. Negrophobia. All right, cool. So let's get it in, man. Let's get it in, family. What do I want to discuss today? Gabs, what are you saying? Let me hear you. What did I say I want to discuss today? I like hearing it from somebody else's voice.
I think you said you wanted to I think you said the last thing I remember you telling me is someone posed the question if you can be Muslim and Kemetic.
Ban all of that. Let's get in straight Kemetic stuff.
Which stuff? What's the other stuff you're gonna deal with? You're dealing with the Hunico?
The Hunico. All right, let's do that, man. I don't know. Can we break down what the word Hunico means? Can we do that?
Yeah, break it down to the people.
All right, let me see. I'll actually, you know, because technically I coined this term. But you know, I know that my brothers who actually know the meta nature can understand this term. So, Asar, what does the word who mean? Just to put you on the spot real quickly.
Who means eternity.
And another way of saying who?
You could say eternity, you could say forever, you could say everlasting, you can say millions of years, as they would put it, and the ka is the double, or your soul.
Before we get to that, I'm not saying I'm not saying H-U-H. I'm saying H-U as those who follow as the retinue on Ra's boat.
On Ra's boat?
Like Hu and Sia.
Okay, so you're talking about aspects of the mind. Sia is like righteousness on the right side of Ra. Who is still eternity, either way we look at it. That's still limitless. And in particular, when Ra circumcises himself and the blood portions come out and create Hu and Sia, see, this is what happens when you got too many creation stories in your head.
I was gonna keep it simple, you go into the depths of dunya, like it's powerful. I was keeping it simple. I was keeping it simple as Hu, meaning authoritative utterance. You know, them ways there. The authoritative utterance, Hu, the H-U one. So there's the authoritative utterance, and then Ni meaning towards, and then Ka meaning, as you quite rightly said, the spiritual double, or the etheric force, the light force right there. So what we're trying to do right now is speak words of power into people's spirits, and that's our way of saying we actually need to start proclaiming the truth, okay, or proclaiming what we know to other people, to start waking them up, start activating the certain life forces within inside of them, start activating the ancestral spirits within inside of them, start activating the spiritual force into them, the emotional force into them, the psychic force into them, that will get them woken up, to cure them from their sickness, okay, to wake them up from their sleep, to make them resurrect themselves. So that's what I'm talking about when I'm saying Hunico. I'm saying let's talk that real talk, that powerful talk that will start shaking the core of their beings, to start waking up to the truth of the Kemetic philosophy, or to Ma'ah, full stop. Ma'ah meaning truth, full stop. So that's what I'm talking about today. And we're about to do some surgery. We're about to do some medicine. We're about to get it all in today. And I wanted to actually teach directly from the Book of the Dead, or the Pert Emheru. All right. And I know most of my brothers in here know about the Pert Emheru, and they know about certain scenes. So I want to know, Gabs, when you see a scene like this, when you see a scene like this, what comes straight to your mind?
Let me see. Let's have a look. See. Okay, there you go. That looks like a mummification scene. Mummification scene of the dead.
That's right. That's right.
So I can see the glyph symbols. You got the Jed. You got the Jed up there. The Jed pillar. You got Shabti. You have Aset's knot, and obviously you got a heart there. Those 4 symbols. I can't see the 5th one. All
right. So I wanted to go into some depth on this symbology right here, because who knows the story of the good King Asar? Who knows the good story of Unefer? So Asar, since it's after your own namesake, I've got to ask you the question. What happened to the good King Asar that led to the point of him being mummified?
Well, a couple things happened. First, he was ruling the land justly, righteously, loved. Then you had 72 assessors, including Iona, a queen from Ethiopia, join in with Set. And when they join in with Set, Set throws a big party. Set doesn't happen to come to this event. And he brings out a beautiful box. What you see as the what you call a sarcophagus right now. I'm gonna keep it simple terms. This sarcophagus was specially made for Asar, but Asar didn't know that. Set had a plan, and he had planned with the other 72 assessors. So Set tells him at the party, he says, whoever can fit inside this beautiful box perfectly can have it as their own. So the whole party tries to get inside the box. Asar is the last person to get inside the box. As soon as he gets in and fits in it, Set slams the lid down, starts to hammer it down, and fills it up with molten lead. The other 72 assessors at the party begin to assist him in doing so. And as they do so, they put it in the water, they throw it in the waters, and Asar eventually drowns. But when he drowns, the coffin is found in the location kills me right now. It floats to a king's land, not far, and a tree starts to grow around it.
Biblos.
And, yeah, the tree becomes the Djed pillar, and that is considered to be the backbone of Asar. That's the symbol that you see on the far left here, right here. When when Aset goes to this land, Aset goes to talk to the king and the queen and tells him what the deal is. So the king was going to use the tree anyway for his roofing. So he cuts the tree down. They give Aset the coffin. I won't get into the story that happens there with the children and how Ampu, etc., but she eventually floats over to the marshy land, back to Kem. And in the marshland, Set happens to get a hold of the coffin, happens to find the coffin, rips it open, sees Asar in it, tears him into 14 pieces, takes the phallus and throws it into the water, and a particular fish, eats the phallus. Aset is distraught, obviously. And she goes about the land with Jehuti, distraught, looking for the parts of Asar. When she gets those parts, she puts them back together and wraps them in the first mummified form with the kes, the wrappings. She says different spells over the wrappings. Jehuti is the writer of the spells on the wrappings and the writer of certain parts of the book of coming forth by day because of this. So when she's doing this, she cannot find the phallus, the penis. Unfortunately, the fish had ate it. So she fashions one out of a gold rod. She attaches it with honey. Her and her sister Nebhet, who also assisted her, become, or during this procession, she's trying to impregnate herself from Asar. And they say some hymns to bring him back to life, in which she turns into a bird, flies over the phallus, impregnates herself with Heru, and there you have a story of the birds and the bees, as the king is called the Nisut Biti, or Insut Biti, however you want to pronounce it. Biti means bee. The honey attaches the phallus, and she turns into a kite, the bird. So you're watching the story of the birds and the bees unfold in front of you. When she draws his life force from him and creates Heru, well, now you understand why you have the first mummy. You understand the story behind it, the wrappings, etc., etc.
Jeez, my brother just went in, again, I always say, Asar, you take it to next levels and next heights, I love it. See, most people don't know these stories. You need to get familiar with these stories. These are your African, ancient African stories, your ancient African. Somebody was saying, oh, this stuff is mythical. Yeah, it is mythical. It is actually mythical. It is actually mythology.
To a degree. But here's the part, Kalam, where people forget and don't understand. You're watching a story of the birds and the bees take place. Asar also represents plantation and regeneration. So they're telling you about photosynthesis in ancient Kemet. And some people miss the point of the mythos. So they say mythos is fake. No, photosynthesis happens. And now you understand exactly how it happens when we tell it through mythos.
There you go. There you go. So again, it's like this. Mythos are literally stories, but stories in a okay, let me put this like this. Mythos tend to be scientific treatises wrapped around in a mythological story that actually has parallels on various different levels. As my brother just said, it has parallels to do with plantation. It has parallels to do with the celestials, with the moon and so forth, having 14 different parts. It has parallels to do with the human being and the psychology of the human being as well, and so forth and so forth and so forth. There is various different parallels where these mythos, these stories, okay, reoccur constantly throughout nature and throughout history as well. Are you with me, family? Asai, am I correct in saying that?
Absolutely. Imhotep, brother Virtue, by the way, too.
Yeah. My brother Virtue's in the building. So yeah, so the real point I actually wanted to get to with this as well is that in this story over here, or this this particular vignette, which is coming from, of course, the Per de Meheru, this one particular is actually the Papyrus of Ani. So for those of you guys who don't already have a copy, please go and purchase a copy of the Ancient Egyptian Book of the Dead. You can find it. Two good authors so far is Budge's, E.A. Wallace Budge. The better one that I personally prefer is R.O. Faulkner's version of the Ancient Egyptian, or translation of the Ancient Egyptian Book of the Dead. These are some good, real good resources to actually go to learn more about the ancient Kemetic literature and mythos as well. But right now, what I really wanted to key into is actually this process over here, this mummification process, okay, that most of our people, out there right now, as Gabs will say, is literally the walking dead. They're in a death-like state, okay? And most people don't even know they're in a death-like state. And our purpose, okay, our purpose as being, part of the four sons of Heru, okay, being Duamatef, Kebesanuf, Imseti, and Happy. Okay, these are the four sons of Heru, or the four sons of the day. So from every corner of the world, okay, from north, east, south, and west, there should be people just like us who are well endowed and well instructed and well empowered with the Kemetic knowledge and philosophy, yeah, to be able to come up to our brothers and sisters who are in a death-like state, yeah, and to be their protector, as you can see with the flames right now. You can see there here is flames. We should be their protectors and guides. And I'm saying women as well. As you can see, you have the female element here as well. You have Aset here, and you have also Nebthet as well, or Nebthut. Okay, that's here as well. The female elements that are there to guide them to eternity, to teach them on the right path. Okay, so right now, I want my mandem, okay? I need my remech, okay? I need my I need my senas, okay? Or my senai or senau, yeah, to come together, okay? And my sent or senet or center to come together, okay? And join forces with the kings, so we can eat all day. That's another thing. But join forces with the kings, yeah, and start the process of actually, resurrecting the dead, okay? Because they're in a death-like state and we need to resurrect them. And if you ain't got nobody around you, you need to go to the most learned, the most knowledgeable, the most well-equipped, and a Anupu-like figure, okay? As you can see right here, you got the Anupu-like figure who's aiding this process. This Anupu-like figure, literally, he is the messenger of the underworld, okay? He brings the messages from, the underworld over and guides the deceased individual back to life again. So we need to start creating, bodies and camps where we can actually do some Hunico. So we actually need to start proclaiming these truths to these individuals and start helping them and aiding them on their journeys of resurrection, okay? We need to do that. Actually, because you know what, a lot of us, definitely from the Kemetic school of thought, we usually keep this stuff to ourselves. We don't usually go out and propagate like the Christians do, like evangelize like the Christians. We don't go forward and propagate like the Muslims do and start doing dawah. We don't do those things. We normally just, sit back, we're chilled, we learn, we elevate ourselves, we tell our closest friends and so forth and help them to elevate, but we don't usually do it on a broader scale. Gabs, did you want to say anything before I continue?
Yeah, I was going to say something because I've just been looking at the chat, and obviously from the chat, I can tell, this is what happens. When people see like these certain glyphs and stories and stuff like this, their brain can't comprehend. But this is how you know, their mindset is at a low grade. Do you know why I say that? Because people are looking and saying, I'm confused, or I don't get it. Oh, this is just nonsense. What are they talking about? Like, this is BS. But now, when I break down this now, most of the people here went to school, right? Now, when you went to school, yeah, from whatever grade you was in, from nursery all the way up to year 6, yeah, the teachers, for your understanding, the teachers were giving you stories which help you learn. Now, these stories which they told you, one of them might be about the tortoise and the hare, yeah. You might have learned about Anansi the spider, depending on what school you went to. You would have learned about the Mr. Men, if anybody know about the Mr. Men books. All these stories, oh, Little Red Riding Hood, the boy who cried wolf. All these stories are to help the young mind of children to grow and understand principles and morality and different things. These stories which we're showing you are basically the same things. These are stories which we had in our cultures to help the community and the children in the community to learn and understand the meanings behind the stories. So when people in the chat room or people are thinking, I don't get this. This is weird. I don't understand. Listen, it's the same thing when you was in school. You know what I mean? When your teachers was telling you about these books, you were sitting down on the carpet listening, very intrigued, like, oh, okay. Oh, now I understand what the teacher means. Oh, I understand now the story of the tortoise and the hare and what that represents. It's all stories. So when people are laughing and saying, look at the pictures and there's a bird there and remember, these are the same things that you went through as a child. You can't tell me you didn't. No one didn't give you no stories with just writing, because you wouldn't have understood. You wouldn't have learned. The first thing you got taught was pictures. You looked at the pictures and then you got taught what it was. They showed you the pictures of things. Everything was picture, 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 picture. Then the words come along. You see what I'm saying? No one don't teach you words first. It don't make no sense. So to those people out there, just understand this. Yeah. The stories and anything that we show with the glyphs and the pictures on it is the same way in school. Yeah. You learn your stories and you learn your moralities and you learn the meaning behind it. That's all it's about. It's about understanding and education. It's education at the end of the day. It's not religion, because you guys are thinking that it's a religion. It's not religion. It's education, science, maths, music, astronomy, everything. That's what it is. It's education. Stop using your religious brains to think and look into the text like that. It's not like that. Just think about it as school. That's all it is. But obviously, I can see, obviously there's some people that obviously weren't very well education, so that's why it goes over your head. But it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. That's what I had to add, my brother. Go on.
Listen, man, that's it right there. I love that. So let me just quickly get back to it. So again, I was touching upon the fact that a lot of times we don't actually go ahead and actually propagate. I don't know, like in America, let me know, man. I know my Hebrew Israelites are going in. I'm just watching a little thing with Hashar right now. He's going in. My Hebrew Israelites are going in. I can see my my Hebrew Israelites over here. They're going in. But I want to know, like, do we have like the Kemetic camps or Afrocentric camps, Pan-African camps actually going out? I'm not talking about doing protests, but going out and trying to educate people on a street level or on any other levels as well. So let me know, like, Asar, let me know, how is it going out there in America? Is that happening? Because I know over here in the UK, it's not happening. And I think it's a shame. But go ahead, King.
Some of us are the forefront and the leaders of this stuff. So where you have per ankhs or houses of life, as we would call them, per Oz, in New York, you have in Fudishi, you have Booker T. Coleman, you have people moving around like that. Out here, you have me, you have my brother Ra, Sekem Ra. You also have a few other people. So they're growing. They're growing. The thing is, and why a lot of people are still in the paradigm that they are, but so curious about ours and want to come over and convert to ours or just run with, original nature in the first place. The reason they don't make that jump is because most people can't show you how to pray. And that's a big part of people's lives. Most people can't show, even though most Christians, you don't really, you don't get in any particular stance. You put your hands like this and you, oh, dear God, and and you usually do it at a time of need, as opposed to when you should do it on a regular basis, like a Muslim would do it on a regular basis throughout his day. You don't have that. You don't have a lot of people doing donations and funds when, you're in your time of need. You can still go to a church. You can still go to a masjid and you can get an economic handout if you fall on your face, right? So once we start these houses of life, once we start standing on the corner and say, brother, there's a hen measure for you, and the arquette, or and start to talk to the people, they'll come. They'll come. And we already know how the knowledge is. We know the knowledge is sound, it's secure. It's the foundation for most of the Abrahamic faiths. It's the foundation for other faiths. It's not the first, but it's the foundation for so many things. When you get grounded in it, you don't want to come out. You don't want to leave. And a lot of people, as Gabs was pointing out, you have your stories and they sound like, oh, that's crazy. But think about this. You have Muhammad, who gets his heart washed. It looks like he's getting stabbed by one of the angels. He's taken up on a unicorn into the heaven. You know how that sounds to me? We know unicorns don't exist. You understand what I'm saying? Or when you have a story about Jesus, he died, and then all of a sudden he pops back up in the house 3 days later, and they're, he's alive. You nailed him to the cross. He dies, and then he comes back in 3 days, and those stories sound just as crazy. It's a different mythos. And we don't even know why that mythos is. Where in Kemet, you're going to get a scientific explanation behind the mythos. Like when Seth is cutting up the body in those portions, those 14 or 15 portions, depending on if you're using the solar or the lunar cycle calendar or the Vedic calendar, you're talking about the dissection of the moon. So they're giving you the moon cycle. Nebhet and Aset put him back together in the last 15 days of the moon cycle, which lasts 29 to 30 days, which you can find in the chapter of your book of Coming Forth by Day if you are reading it correctly and understand the mysteries. These are the things you don't know. Now, why you killed Jesus on the cross or why Muhammad went up on a unicorn, you can't really give me an explanation for that. In Kemet, you're always going to get an explanation for the mysteries.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, I love that. Now, I actually wanted to jump real quickly as well. I'm giving you guys some of these basic texts that a lot of us utilize in terms of Kemetic information. This right here is called the Hermetica. Okay, if you haven't already bought your copy, please go ahead and buy a copy. I'm pretty sure this particular chapter is called Poimenides. Yeah. Discourse of Hermes Trismegistus to Poimenides. Poimenides literally means pa eme ne ra, the knowledge of God, basically, the knowledge of God. So in here it talks, especially to do with propagation, Hunico, or evangelism, so to speak. And I'm going to read. Let's see, what should I read? All right, here, cool. They rise up to the Father in orders and surrender themselves to the powers, and having become powers, they enter into God. This is the final good for those. Okay, so now it really starts. This is the final good for those who have received knowledge. Okay, so for those of guys who receive knowledge, the final good is to be made into deities or to be made God. Why do you still delay? Having learned all this, should you not become guide to the worthy, so that through you the human race might be saved by God? Okay, so if you have been raised up in knowledge, okay, if you have been raised up in knowledge, if you have become an akhu in your own sense, akhu literally means an effective ancestor or an effective individual. If you are effective, you have been divinized or become or walk through the school and become an Asar, okay, and you have become God in that respect. Yeah, why do you even delay? A lot of us have a lot of knowledge, a lot of wisdom, a lot of understanding. We've walked through certain paths. Why do we still delay on actually going out there and teaching other people? Okay, why are we just simply keeping this stuff in our own minds and hearts? Okay, so having learned all this, should you not become guide to the worthy? Okay, it says here, guide to who? Not just anybody, but only to the worthy. So be very cautious and careful in who you're actually giving this information to. It's only to the worthy, so that through you, the human race, okay, which race? The human race might be saved by who? By God. Okay, and it continues and says here, as he was saying this to me, Poimenides joined with the powers. Then he sent me forth. Okay, as Muslims say, every prophet has been sent. So anyways, this is the very first one here that we're talking about here. The very first priest, the very first high priest, the very first translator of the heavens and earth. Okay, now goes forth being empowered and instructed on the nature of the universe, okay, and on the supreme vision. So you know about us in terms of Kemet. You know, there's three things that we have to have intact in terms of Gnosis. We need to have knowledge of the heavens, so we need to have knowledge of, know thyself, know the mysteries of the universe, and you shall know God. So once you've been empowered and instructed in the nature of the universe and on the supreme vision, okay, we'll talk about that another time. After I had given thanks to the Father and of all and praised him, and I began proclaiming, okay, this is the key bit now. I began proclaiming to mankind the beauty of reverence and knowledge. Okay, people, earthborn men, you who have surrendered yourself to drunkenness and sleep and ignorance of God, make yourself sober and end your drunken sickness. Your sickness, end it, for you are bewitched in unreasoning sleep. I particularly like this bit here, you know. I particularly like this bit here because it shows that a lot of us are drunken, okay? Our senses are completely numb, okay? We're in a state of sleep. We're completely unconscious. We're in a state of ignorance, meaning we are completely, our intellect faculties are not being utilized. We have no knowledge. We're not conscious. Our senses are not operating fully. You could take somebody out right now and show them, you know, come, let's go stargazing. Let's go to the, in the midst of the night. Let's go stargazing. Look, that's Orion. That's the Orion star constellation. They don't even see no beauty in that. Look. There's a shooting star or meteorite, but there's a shooting star. Like they don't see no beauty in that. Their whole being is just numb. They can't even see the beauty in the rising sun. Like you don't even see the beauty in that. You don't see the reverence. You don't have no reverence. You don't have no awe in those things there. You rather just be on your phone or stuck at home playing on your Xbox or your PS4 and actually seeing what nature is actually producing and being in awe of that. Some people are literally in a state of drunkenness, state of sleep, completely unconscious. And what's the last one? What's the last one again? They're in a sickness. They've got a sickness about themselves. So anyways, it continues to say here, universe revision, okay, sickness for you, or bewitched in a reasoning sleep. When they heard, they gathered round with one accord. And I said, why have you surrendered yourself to death, earthborn men? Since you have the right to share in immortality, you have journeyed with error, who have partnered with ignorance. Think again, escape the shadowy light, leave corruption behind, and take a share in immortality. Some of them who had surrendered themselves to the way of death resumed their mocking and withdrew. Some of the trolls, you be giving them the medicine, but they don't care about it. They just like the fact that they can mock. They're going to remain in their state of ignorance. And then some of them are going to say, I'm going to unsubscribe. I don't like this. Stay in your ignorance. We don't need you. While those who desired to be taught cast themselves at my feet, having made them rise, I became guide to my race, teaching them the words, how to be saved and in what manner. I sowed the words of wisdom among them, and they were nourished from the ambrosial water. When evening came and the sun's light began to disappear entirely, I commanded them to give thanks to God. And when each completed the thanksgiving, he turned to his own bed. So, I definitely wanted to read that out because, it's a very integral part. This is the teachings of, Parmenides on to Jehuti or Tehuti or to Hermes. He has various different names. Okay. He was the first guy to mankind or to his own race, which would have been the Kemetians, or some even say the Kushites as well. So he was the first guide, and he was taught to go out and teach mankind or teach his race the things that they didn't actually know. Okay, to raise them in the knowledge of the cosmos, raise them in the knowledge of the sciences, raise them in the knowledge of God, raise them in the knowledge of how to become a divine being, how to become immortal, how to become divine. So, it is actually imperative for us, if we're truly saying we're on this Ramesh lifestyle, we're on this path of Kemet, we're on this part of Ma'at, okay? It is definitely incumbent upon us, not only for us to be nice and saved and be comfortable knowing what we know, but it's actually incumbent upon us to actually go forward, okay, and restore that which was lost, okay? For some of us that have been traveling to the east, okay, and then traveling back into the west, okay, and now you know what you need to bring back to the west, okay, and who you need to bring back forward to the east again. So we need to start doing these things, okay? We need to start bringing the light to individuals or to people or to our nation or to our community, Every single prophet, every single person from our nation, from our community, from our temples, from our lodges, okay, have been sent out from amongst their own people to bring and rise and to literally rise, okay, or raise our people back up to the truth, back up onto that perpendicular path. So hopefully, you know, we will start actually doing these things. Those of us who are learned, those of us who are knowledgeable, those of us who have truly been instructed, it is actually upon us to do these things. Stop. I'm going to say, you know, we need to stop sitting on the couch and just waiting for other people to do it, waiting for other people to start things off, waiting for other people to build. Like, there's a lot of us out there. And it just upsets my soul at times that the younger generation is just going to the wayside because there's nobody in the older generations who's willing to literally put their hand down and raise everybody else up. Come on, y'all need to stop it. So let's get on point now. Anyways, I'm gonna open it back up. Asar, Gabs, what you gonna say?
Hey, why you always just bringing in them man there, bruv? Like I'm not on there, bruv.
Oh snap, man! Like virtue. Okay, go to you, King.
What's wrong with you, bro?
Bring it in, G. Bring it in. Yeah,
you got me to badge you up online and that.
Jeez. Man, yo, virtue, you know.
After the dawn of the dawns is on. After everything what you just spoke about is what I talk about. Everything.
Jeez. Hey.
I don't know, like, true say the people don't know, innit? But they will get to know when they have to, innit?
All right.
I'm on here, brother. You know, like that. And all I gotta say is I am you and guidance in it.
Bro, you just can't do that, man. You just can't do that. Y'all need to, you know, you need to go into some detail for the people, bruv. Come on.
Bro.
That science, man.
They gave me a proper introduction. I shouldn't have to jump on the way how I had to. So I'm a fallback and then you fix up and then I'll do my thing.
Man like virtue, you know. Man like virtue is come on here to bad man up, you know. He said, yo, Cal, I don't like the way, yeah, that what you saying? You say, man like Sarah, man like Gabs is just getting all the shine, fam. Like, what? Like, man ain't known you from way back. Like, man ain't know you from way back, and we do this thing together, fam. And what? Man ain't showing me that, bro. Man loves you, you know. Man loves you, you know, virtue. Don't get it twisted. Listen, but guys, you guys don't even know who virtue is, you know. If y'all don't know who Virtue is, go check out his channel, Virtue TV. Literally, my brother did the very first exclusive interview of me before any other channel did an interview, yeah, off Kalam, yeah, Titans TV. Man like Virtue paved the way. If y'all want to know about that whole I am you philosophy right there, check out Virtue TV. My brother, jump in, man. Don't be shy, man. Don't play games with the family. Let's go, man. Get it in.
Family, I'm here, innit? As I say, I'm here. I am used easy. Like, I just want people, like how Gabs is saying, I realize the people, they don't have imagination, innit? So what I do on my channel is try to build imagination. Most of us don't dream. Like tonight, it's 11 o'clock or whatever. I want to know if people could build their own dream tonight. Not just have a dream, build up a dream. Like, do you know how powerful your imagination is? Everything comes out of the imagination. What we call God is the imagination. So what we're talking about, this mythology and all of these things, the reason why we do it in those story-like fashion is because we used our imagination. Just like how we built everything, it doesn't matter, from a pyramid to whatever, it comes out the imagination. Every bike, every app, every whatever, it doesn't matter what it is, it comes out the imagination. So I'm not talking no spooky thing. I always come and talk truth. My name's Virtue, innit? People's going to get to know me, as I said.
Let me give them some imagination then, right? For my brother Virtue. Remember, y'all, you're talking ancient stories in the mythos. You're talking about science, but you're also talking about the form of television that they had. So it couldn't just plug up to, you know, iTunes. It couldn't just plug up to YouTube. They didn't have that. So let's talk about Amun Ra. Let's listen to how Suti and Hor or Heru discuss in one of the hymns to the sun that chair to Amun Ra. It says this. It says, self-made, you fashioned your body, creator, uncreated, soul one, unique one who traverses eternity, remote one with millions under his care. Your splendor is like heaven's splendor, your color brighter than its hues. When you cross the sky, all faces see you. When you set, you are hidden from their sight. Daily you give yourself at dawn. Safe is your selling under your majesty. In a brief day, you race a course, hundreds, thousands, millions of miles. A moment is each day to you. It has passed when you go down. You also completed the hours of night. You order it without pause in your labor. Through you, do all I see. They lack aim when your majesty sets. When you stir to rise at dawn, your brightness opens the eyes of the herds. When you set in the western mountain, they sleep as in the state of death. Now, if you ever read the Quran, some of those things.
Before you go in there real quickly, could you give us the source?
That's Suti and Heru. Stella is, in fact, the Stella is right in the British Museum, number 826. So you could probably go see that tomorrow.
Jeez. Go ahead, King.
So if you ever read the Quran, a lot of that sounds familiar to you. And if you read certain parts of the Bible, that's going to sound familiar to you as well. But understand that even though people, the younger generation, Kemet, I'm Muslim, Kemet, I'm Christian, or whatever the case, you must come to terms with the fact that your first fathers built churches inside the Ramesseum, built masjids inside the Ramesseum, would go study the walls daily to come up with information to put your book together before your Septuagint, before your scriptures gathered up off the so-and-so, etc., before you had a hadith, which doesn't look different from another student of ancient Kemet who wrote the Moralia. So you got to look at these things. Use your imagination when you hear those verses so you can start to understand the majesty of nature. And come on home. That's all I'm saying. Come on home. It's time. Come on, baby. It's time, baby. Oh.
Yeah, it's time, baby. Oh, man. So you saying, all right, Gabs, let me get you involved, man. Let's get you involved.
Yeah, man. That's good, man. I just want to say now, I hope the people are listening. You know, some people are gonna take in some of the medicine and some people ain't. But the brother Virtue and brother Ansar and brother Kalam just shared some big powerful stuff there. But you know, some people are not gonna get it. And that's fine, because you know what, it's just like school, like I said, and I always use school for example. The teachers are always gonna teach, but some pupils are gonna get it fast. Some pupils are gonna learn faster, some are gonna take a bit of time, and then you just got the ones in class that just mess around that don't get it. And you know what happens today. You know how that story goes. The ones that don't get it, they just don't pass. So that's just how I see it. You see what I'm saying? Say again?
Those little knuckleheads.
The knucklehead students, you know what I mean? But the teacher can't tell them to get out. The teacher still has to do the job and still keep teaching. And that's what we got to do. We still got to give out the information and keep teaching, regardless of the ones that don't get it, don't understand, the ones that are messing around. Also, you got them same students that, you know, they try to disrupt the other students that are trying to learn and take them off the path. This is what you see. I see the exact same thing happening with us. It's the same thing. We're trying to teach and educate, you know, and then you got the ones that don't want to learn. They're trying to disrupt the class, you know, the trolls. Do you know what I mean? And they do their thing. But like I said, we're still going to teach regardless and still bring the information. And it's funny because one thing I was just thinking about as well, when you're dealing with the whole philosophy of Africa, even when you're dealing with Kemet, yeah, we know that they was dealing with astrology. Now, what's the astrology for? Now, obviously, back in those days, obviously there weren't such things as sat navs, and all these equipments and electronics that we have today to navigate us through the night and navigate us through the towns. And obviously, they had to understand all the different stars to be able to navigate themselves throughout the deserts and through the harsh lands of Africa. Do you know what I mean? Look how big that place is. Do you know what I mean? You're gonna have to learn where you're. How are you gonna know where you're walking? You're trying to take some people somewhere, or you're trying to go West Africa, or you're trying to go to the Middle East. How are you gonna get there? You know what I mean? You have to learn the stars. You have to learn loads of different things in nature. Nature had to become your teacher, because if you didn't learn and understand certain things in nature, you wouldn't have made it to the place you're trying to go. You may have been stopped by some hungry lions or some hungry hyenas. You know what I mean? You may have went into the water and met up with some hungry crocodiles. or some alligators. You never know. So you had to learn all these things in nature. So when you're dealing with Kemet, especially Kemet, they're showing you survival tactics. This is what I said. It's science, astronomy, music. Because remember, also, when you're traveling and you get bored and you're with your family, you're going to want to play some music. Keep yourself entertained. Do you know what I mean? You're going to entertain yourself. So these are all the things that we're trying to show you. This is what I'm trying to make people understand now. I think this is the route we need to start going towards. It's more about education and elevating yourself to that higher place. Because it's the same thing like what we did, what your parents wanted to do. Your parents wanted you to have the best education. So what? You can pass primary school. Education, so you can pass college. University. And when you get to university, you get to the highest level of the doctrines. Do you see what I'm saying? That's the best thing that your parents want for you. So that's the same thing in Kemet, what they wanted. They wanted the community to get to the best that they can be. Do you see what I'm saying? And that's what it's all about. Being the best that you can be in yourself, teaching your kids, kids, and so on. But as long as you're dealing with people that don't deal with science, because it's funny, when you're dealing with religious texts, I don't know if they really talk too much about astrology. They do try to, but I don't really see the people showing that. They're not telling me nothing about astrology. They're not telling me nothing about nature. And this is why you can see the world that we're living in now, you don't have too much people trying to care for nature or care for the animals. You know what I mean? Or care for what they're eating. Do you see what I'm saying? We got people trying to get into the dietaries and the way how to eat right after your body. Now people are starting to realize, listen, we got to take care of nature, you know? Do you know what I mean? We got to take care of nature, because we don't take care of nature, shoot, we're dead. Do you know what I mean? There's no existence. Forget about the Quran and the Bible and all these other things. If you don't take care of nature, you're gone, mate. Them books and them papers will still be here, but you're gone, mate. That's dealing with your natural resources, your food, stuff. You know what I mean? That's just how it goes. That's why it's just funny to me. It's crazy how people are, man. But like I said, the medicine always takes time to seep in. You know what I mean? It takes its time. It creeps up on you. But we'll get there in the
end. Oh man, I love my brother, man. The Medicine Man 2017. Get to know if you don't already know. Aye. All right. So you know what? Yeah, I wanted to speak upon like certain things. You know, for if you wanted to do Hunico, if you wanted to speak about Hunico, if you wanted to, you know, speak about Kemetic philosophy or bringing people back to that African lifestyle, way of living, you know, what are the things that we can actually, you know, discuss based upon Kemetic principles? So, real quickly, you know, I wanted to bring this back up again. So, my brother, you know, we have a few amulets over here. I wanted to touch on a few of them. So before I actually go on to the Jed pillar, I actually want to talk about the knot of Isis, or the tie of Isis, which is the blood knot of Isis, you know, and I wanted to speak on that. So Gabs, you there?
Yeah, I'm here, bro. What you can say? Yeah, I'm here.
You know, speak on it. I don't know if you got a little something. I know if you could, you know, break down, you know, like from an esoteric standpoint, what the blood here represents, you know, in terms of teaching people about ancient Egypt and who they are, basically. What's so significant about the blood?
Okay, well, the blood thing, yeah, it's simple. The blood is dealing with, obviously, your culture, your family lineage. You know what I mean? What were your parents? What are they teaching you? How have they raised you in your household? Do you see what I'm saying? Are they still giving you the cultures and the teaching that you need in whatever upbringings or whatever environment you're raised? Do you see what I'm saying? A lot of cultures do that. You know, a lot of the Indian cultures, the Hindu cultures, they still keep some of their traditions and stuff, regardless if they're in whatever parts of the world. You know, the Chinese, who else? The Spanish, the Italians, and most cultures. But obviously, some of us have forgot our ways. We don't deal with it. So the blood thing is very important, especially coming from. I'm talking to the black people, especially. When we're dealing with our culture and our heritage, we're all over the place. And that's why you have so much cultures and people out there fearful of us, or they laugh at us, or they just have this one way thinking about black people. Oh, they're very aggressive, much they're lazy, they're gangsters, they're liars, they're thieves, all these different things they portray on us. Do you know what I mean? But we need to get back to our culture and our heritage and understand who we are first. You know what I mean? We love to jump on all these other cultures. I've spoke about this before. Before we can go and say we're this or we're that or I'm dealing with this culture, we need to deal with ourselves first. Who am I? You know what I mean? Who's my family? Where my family from? What am I? What's my legacy? You know what I mean? What stuff can I stand on? Every other culture's doing it. Every other culture does it. And this is what I keep saying. Why is it every time that we want to speak on our culture and our history, yeah, people get in a fright. They get, oh shoot, what are these black people trying to do? Hold on. Black supremacists. You know what I mean? It always comes up. The fact of the matter is, if you don't want to see black on black crime, yeah, if you don't want to see young black kids going around stabbing and robbing people, and you're fearful of your children, yeah, if you don't want to see all this craziness that you're saying black people are doing this, look at them, they're mad. Allow us to educate ourselves or re-educate ourselves, yeah, get knowledge of self, yeah, teach the young, teach the old as well, the elders, yeah, and bring back the love and the education that we had prior. And then maybe after, once you start seeing some progression in the community, then you go, oh, so maybe this is all what they needed to go back to their original selves. That's all. And now look, these people are fine. But as long as we don't have that, as long as we don't get back and get in tune with our culture and our heritage and our history, and then we're dealing with all these other cultures and other religious and belief systems, like one brother said in the comment sections, black people ain't going to unify anytime soon. Hell no, it's not going to happen, of course. And I tell you that it's true. It won't happen as long as we're dealing with all these other cultures and these other religious systems and not dealing with ourselves. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I get from that.
Facts. 100. You see me, yeah. I ask these simple questions, like for me, that covers what these amulets are saying. Like, who are you? Where are your ancestors from? How did your ancestors get from wherever they were over to here? What process did that took place? What actually took place for you to be in the UK, for you to find yourself in Jamaica, for you to find yourself in Nevis, for you to find yourself in St. Lucia? Like, how did you get there? How did you get into the Americas? How did you get there? You know, who were you people before that? What were their psyche? What was their identity? What was their language? What was their culture? What did they wear? What was their philosophy? Did they have a concept of a deity? Who did they worship? What did they worship? What was their highest ideal and values and ethics and so forth? And I'm pretty much sure that most of us have no clue about these things. I believe it's Marcus Garvey. He, one of his most famous quotes, he states that, a people without no history is like a tree without no roots. It's dead. And that's the state that we are in as a people. We're literally in the state of Asar. We're literally in the state of a mummified body. We are dead right now. We don't know whether we're coming or going. We're just literally the walking dead. Literally. Unless you could start answering those questions, like, it's true. You're in a state of death. And that's what we're here for. We're here to give you back your blood lineage. Give you back your that you see that amulet over there in that left-hand corner? We're here to give you back your blood, your genetics, your history, the knowledge of who you were before you got to this place here. Who were you? What position was you in? How did you find yourself in that position? Can we get back to that same position again? That's what we're here for. The next symbol over here is the heart amulet. Which
hold up. Don't hop off of that one yet. We ain't go into
it. Let's get it, King. Let's get it. Go ahead.
Yo, since you made them bring out their books today, if you got your booker coming forth by day at home, right now you watching Titans TV, because you're going to get it from the Wab, the pure priest, your brother Asar and Aset. Go to chapter 156. It'll probably say spell 156. That's the first thing I want you to do while I break down a couple things real quick. This particular amulet is called the buckle or the girdle of our set. It's generally is usually made out of glass, carnelian, and jasper. When you see this particular buckle, this was put on the neck of the deceased to protect him in the hereafter, in the afterlife, in the next life, so that you will be saved. Talking about lineage, when our set is about, when you are about the things that our set was about, you are protected by her blood. Okay, some of you know, because you say you're protected by the blood of Jesus. We're protected by the blood of our set, and in particular, the blood of our set and the strength of our set and the words of power of our set shall be mighty, and they will act as a power to protect the great and divine being and to guard him from him that would do unto him anything that he hold in abomination. So this particular amulet was to protect you from any form of abomination, any type of abomination. The way that a priest would bless it is we would put it in the flowers, the unkham flowers, or the unkham flowers, if you will, and it would sit in that water, which would give it its protection. And those flowers have a significance too, but we can't go into every single thing. But this is how Aset raised the dead body of Asar. This is how we raise you from the dead. We get you re-familiar with what protects you, the blood of Aset. And in particular, if you got to that chapter in number 156, it says, you have your blood, O Aset. You have your power, O Aset. You have your magic, O Aset. The amulet is protection for this great one, which will drive away whoever would commit a crime against him. And then they tell you when you should say these things. It says, it's to be said over a knot amulet of red jasper moistened with juice.
That's
of the
too much
life
for them.
in it.
That's too much. That's too much. We're keeping it simple.
Don't give all the goodies.
I told you, we're opening the lodge doors. We're not opening the temple doors today.
That's right.
With me. Yeah. we can only give you the first degrees, man. We can't give you everything. You have to be initiated for that one. So yeah. You see, I love this one. Say, Asar hits it on the Asar goes in. Asar goes in. Me there, I'm there trying to just do like, here you go. Here's some milk. Asar goes, nah, F that. They need the meat. They need to tear into that. They need that strong, heavy stuff. Damn, son. Go ahead, Asar.
I'm gonna tell you right now. And see, people say stuff like black people will never unite. But don't say stuff. I mean, you could say that stuff if you want to, but don't act like all Europeans are in unison. Don't act like all Asians are in unison. China got beef with Korea. Japan got beef with China, et cetera, on down the line. Don't act like all Arabs are in unison. You see beef in Middle Eastern countries on a regular basis. So this is not just for a cultural perspective. This is for the world. Remember, Greeks, Persians, Asians, they all paid money, taxes to ancient Kemet so that we could set up their ethics and morality and governing systems. Not that it was the first. They were far earlier, but this is home. This is home. If you want to know how something came about, come on home. Come on in. Stop worrying about what color you are right now. See, that's your problem. And then you go on another forum and say, world peace. We need world peace. But you can't even be peaceful with yourself. You need to come on home. You need to learn about your ka. You need to recognize your ib, your heart. And you need science. Being so disrespectful not only to others, but to yourself, because you disrespect yourself when you disrespect the science that science came from.
Hey, that's that I am you. Oh my days. Say nothing, my brother.
Jeez. All right. I wanted to move over to the next amulet right now, which is the heart amulet. That's that ib. You know, I know in certain cultures, you know, we have it as Obi, or we have it as our Ori, or we have it as our, let me think of some other cultures, you know, your Lab, or your Lab, or your Ab. Okay, this is talking about your heart right now. So what is the heart? What is your heart? Your heart is the seat of your desires, your wills, your intelligence, your consciousness, and so forth. Like most of us, you know, we may look a particular way, but our heart and our minds are completely other than ourselves. Some of us are simply an avatar for other symbiotic beings to be residing within inside of us. I want to know, if you yourself don't know your own history, okay? If you don't know your own history, the question is, whose history do you know? If you don't know your own language, whose language do you know? If you don't know your own culture, whose culture do you know? If you don't know your own theology, whose theology do you know? You know, for me, it's clear. Most of us are avatars for other beings, for other symbiotic forces to be residing within inside of ourselves. Most of us are under the oppression and illusion and delusion of what we consider white supremacy and racism. Most of us have colorism syndrome within inside of us. I don't know if you ever saw that thing with Jabari and the other day with Jabari and Prince York. And supposedly Prince York is all cussing Jabari, another black man, saying, you know, he's a high yellow Negro who's being paid by the white man, etc., etc., etc. Like, that's that colorism right there. You thinking you're above white supremacy and racism, but you're utilizing another form of racism and supremacy against your own brother. It might even be black supremacy in that sense, or black colorism supremacy in that sense, where you're seeing yourself as being darker than another brother, okay? Meaning that you're more superior to them. Stop that. Get off that. Get off that. That shadism. Get off that. You might be seeing yourself as a light-skinned person and you're looking down at another dark-skinned person. You need to stop that and get out of that. You with me? Like, you all need to realize and start realizing what type of system, what type of psychology, what type of you know, mindset have you adopted from being acculturated in a particular society. Identify the illness. You know, I know the you know, the Nawapian teachings teaches you about racial blindness and spiritual ignorance. Most of us are under a spell of sleep, a spell of ignorance. We need to break that spell and come out of that and realize that there are these forces that are actually upon us and oppressing us. You need to break free from that and get back into your own self. Get back into your own identity. Get back into your own psychology. Get back into your own philosophy. Go on. I'm going to yield the floor. Go on. Go ahead, Kings. Whoever wants to jump in, jump in.
Talking about the heart amulet. Let's go to school one more time. Let me give you that guidance today, so you know. You know, you get your book of coming forth by day out. Pull it out. Turn to chapter 26.
There's 29b as well. There's 29b, you know, because really, truly, family, you know, the Bible teaches us as well. As a man thinketh, so shall
he be. Yeah.
So shall he be. So you now need to be thinking, like, how are you thinking? Whose mind, whose thoughts are you thinking? Whose thoughts are you thinking? And who will you become by thinking somebody else's thoughts? Get back into yourself. Get back into thinking your own thoughts again, and become the best that you can possibly be. Most people are in some next type of thoughts, you know. They consider themselves to be slaves. When I hear that talk, you know, I'm the slave of this, I'm the slave of that. I'm like, damn, son, I'm humble this, I'm this. I'm like, ooh, damn, son, that mentality, that psyche, jeez, you don't even know how detrimental that is to your own health. You know, from the Kemetic teachings, it tells you what is the final good. I don't know if anybody listened to the Hermetica, what I read out. I said the final good is to become what? Let's see if anybody on the panel was listening.
Remember who you are and be an Asar.
That's it. To become God. You know, become God. Some of you want to be a slave of God from the Kemet or Remech understanding. We want to be Iri Ra. We want to act like Ra. We want to become like Ra. or we want to become like God. That is our final goal. We're not trying to have that slave or Negro mentality. We're trying to have that God mentality where we can start building and creating and fashioning and bringing forth brand new concepts into the world. We want to be the new inventors. We want to be the new mathematicians, the new scientists, the new physicists, the new cosmologists, the new biologists, the new quantum mechanicists, whatever we want to be that. Okay. We want to deal with the sciences and we want to deal with the philosophies as well, but mainly the sciences. We want to be the new scientists of this era. Go ahead, King. Continue.
So we're going to touch on this heart amulet. I'm going to just touch on it. I ain't going to go too in depth. But know that that's the seat of the power of life. So it's the seat of the power of life, meaning that your heart, your intentions, let me talk to my Muslim brothers, your nafs, yourself, your intentions are what guides you. Your intentions are what you're judged by, pardon me. So know that if your nafs is not right, that nothing will be right on the day of Yom Qiyamah, huh? On the day when we stand in the Aru in front of the Sar and are judged. And it looks similar to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam sitting in that chair while you wait for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to pass judgment on you on Yom Qiyamah. So know your heart is the power of the seed of life. And in particular, when we start going to the hymn 28 is spelled 28. Oh, I'm sorry, 26, pardon me, 26. For giving the heart to him in the realm of the amduat, the passing. It says this, it says, my heart is mine in the house of hearts. My heart is mine in the house of hearts. My heart is mine, and it is at rest there. I will not eat the cakes of the Sar on the eastern side of the gay water in the barge when you sail downstream or upstream. That's the happy river, actually, is what it says. And I will not go abroad the boat in which you are. My mouth will be given to me that I may speak with it, my legs to walk, and my arms to fell my enemy. The doors of the sky are open to me. Seb, chiefest of the Netcheru, throw open his jaws for me. He opens my eyes, which were closed up. He extends my legs, which were contracted. Ampu strengthens for me my thighs, which were joined together. The Netcheret Sakamet stretches me out. I will be in the sky. A command shall be made for my benefit, and I shall be aware in my heart. I shall have power in my heart. I shall have power in my arms. I shall have power in my legs. I shall have power to do whatever I desire. My soul and corpse shall not be restrained in the portals of the west when I go in or out in peace. You understand? So understand the intentions you have in your heart. Your heart guides the rest of your limbs. Yama, I'm talking to my Muslim ox right now. You know, on Yom Qiyamah, they say your limbs will testify against you based off your nafs, off of what you did and what you intended to do. Know the seed of your intentions is your heart. Understand the heart comes first. Everything else follows. Ankwas the J. Life, stability, and strength.
Damn. God damn. Hey, can you all hear me? Anyways, family, you know. Somebody just made a good point. There's over 70 people tuned in right now live, yeah? And, you know, we've only got 31 likes. Come on, family, man. Up those likes, man. Hit the like button, man. I don't think I should even continue unless there's like 50 odd likes up in the building, man. Let's get it going, man. Let's get it going. If you haven't already shared the link, what's wrong with you, man? Hit the share button. This is what you lot been asking for so long. You wanted to know more about Kemetic philosophy. You wanted to know more about Kemeticism or Kemet and so forth. So we're giving it to you right now. This is it right here. This is what you've been asking for. This is what you've been longing for so long. And you're not even hitting the like button. You're not even sharing this with your friends. Y'all should be on your Facebooks, your Google Pluses, your WhatsApps, wherever you are at, man. Even on Tumblr, Pinterest, whatever you are at. Okay, share the link, man. Share the link. Get it going, man. Let's get it going, man. Come on, family. So you saying, hold on, we ain't even finished yet. We ain't even finished. Let's get through it real quickly. I don't even know. I don't even know if there's more to say on that one.
I was going to touch on something quickly, and then I don't know if Virtue wanted to touch on something, but I was going to touch on something quickly. Is that all right, yeah?
Yeah, go Chicken.
Okay. No, I just wanted to touch on something because obviously while the brother Asar was obviously hitting that fire, obviously I was just going through the comments, and there was a question there by I think someone by the name of Blazane Quildro. And it was a couple comments up, and he said, I got brothers in my hood stealing and shit. What the F is Kemet gonna do to stop that? Now, what I was gonna say to the brother is this, bro. You know, obviously, you got to realize that the brothers, all of us, we're living in a system, yeah. The system that teaches you about stealing, it shows you about stealing. You know, our brothers and sisters are exposed to videos and movies that you know advocate stealing, music that advocates stealing, even the history about advocating stealing, and then even then the whole stealing is coming from our oppressors. That's a trait that we've learned from the oppressors, because even if we're dealing with facts and we're dealing with history, you know what I mean? Who's the number one people that went around stealing and taking people? Do you know what I mean? Not even number one, different cultures, different people going around stealing. When you're dealing with stealing and thievery, you know who the number one culture is. I don't even have to say it. You know what I mean? Taking people from their homeland, taking people's resources, moving different people from A to B. When they're taking people's resources and their family, they're putting all their resources in museums and making money off it, making profit off it. Do you know what I mean? Got the people paying taxes. You know what I mean? So and it's wide words that I got from my I think my granddad. He told me that we're living somebody else's idea. You know what I mean? Like the brother Kalam was saying, like we ain't in tune with our mind. We're actually living somebody else's idea, because you know what I mean? We wake up in the morning, we're thinking about paying taxes. Or we gotta go to work. We gotta pay the bills. The taxes gotta be paid. Or this bill's gotta be paid. Somebody else put this up. This is somebody's idea. Do you know what I mean? The animals ain't following this system. Do you see what I'm saying? The animals don't have a top chair that says, listen, you guys, you don't gotta pay that animal tax, you know. How much meat you been eating this week, lion? Do you know what I mean? How much grass you been eating, Mr. Giraffe? They don't do that. The animals got the memo from the get-go. Do you know what I mean? And we're the only ones that just didn't get the memo, or we changed the memo. Or you have a certain people that thought, you know what, yeah, we can change the memo and have people living how we want them to live. Because that's all we're doing. Because food, water, and all this stuff, why should we be paying for it? It's on the earth. You know what I mean? No one ain't been given the title of king of the earth. So why is it that we got to pay all this stuff? So this is just to show you that we're still living in a system, somebody else's system, somebody's created system, some people's created system. Do you know what I mean? And to also answer your question about what can Kemet do for your brothers, I'll just say, listen, if you want to deal with that, just go straight to Ma'at. Raise yourself, get your education up. You look up, you teach them about Ma'at, show them about Ma'at. Ma'at is a perfect example to show these people and say, listen, this is what Kemet's saying. This is what your ancestors are saying. This is what your culture says. You know what I mean? Let's look into this stuff. Don't get sucked into the way the Western world and the system is and what the system teaches you. Come and listen to what your ancestors are teaching you. Do you see what I'm saying? Did your ancestors teach you about all this stuff that you're doing? Stealing, robbing, raping, thieving, and all that stuff. Did they teach you that? Is this part of their teachings? And this is why I always said you got to deal with what your ancestors are teaching and go back to that. Because when people are saying, oh, Kemet can't do nothing, what about nowadays? And nowadays, listen, Kemet is yesterday, today, tomorrow, and forever. It's the future. You know what I mean? You just got to tap back into it. That's all. Because we're living somebody else's system, and it's plain and evident. No one here can't tell me they ain't living someone's system. You know what I mean? So that's what I wanted to add on that point there.
Jeez. All right.
Let
Like virtue reacting.
me jump in on that too. What I said in the beginning when I jumped on, I said it's the imagination. Like how you just said, Gabs, we're living in somebody else's mindset. I always say on my channel that we have real estate in our minds. Like we could think for days, for years. There's enough space to think forever. So we need to use our imagination, like I was saying. And people that are robbing, they're not using their imagination. That's just something that you see, like how you said, there's so much of it. You can see on TV, they glamorize like people coming up from the bottom to the top. That's what is glamorized. So that's an aim for people. But that's an aim for somebody without imagination. So like how I said, everything comes from the imagination. Like, I know it sounds whimsical and all of these type of things, but it's not. This is the realest thing ever. As I said, God, what people want to call God, is the imagination. That's why he could operate on all levels. Like, I think people need to really grasp little things. Like, as I say, go to my channel, like, subscribe, man. I've been doing this thing.
Let me bring up something from the ancestor, because when you talk about the hood, that hits home, especially if you've been, you know, because I used to be in North Camden off of 9th and Kimber Street, right? So we had the murder rate in the world, you know. So when you talk, if you from Jersey and you listen, you know what a Brody mission is. You know, girls with door knockers might get knocked out and we might yank the earrings out, right? So, you know, this stuff hits home. And you let somebody else's message change you, no problem. You went to the church, you went to the masjid, you went to the synagogue, you went somewhere different than your own. But all you had to do is look at your own. Your ancestor Ptahhotep was telling you way back when, one of the remedies to the problem. He said this, he said, if you want your conduct to be perfect, deliver yourself from every evil and combat against against the greed of the heart. It is a grievous sickness without cure, impossible to penetrate. It causes disaster among fathers and mothers, among the brothers of the mother, and parts wife from husband. It is an amalgam of all evils, a bundle of all hateful things that man endures who correctly applies ma'at and walks according to his stride. He will make a will by it. The greedy of heart has no tomb. So if you want to steal, you want to cheat, you want to lie, you want to this, that, the other, know that when you pass away, they may not bury you. They may not decide to bury you. And the jackal will come pick up your remains. So understand that if you want to start combating stuff like that, use your imagination. Stop holding funerals and giving services to people who do unrighteous things. Stop assisting in their methodologies. The way that you can get the hood right is by bringing jobs to a people who don't have opportunity and forcing them to educate themselves in order to claim those jobs and positions. That's one of the best methods that you can use to combat the hood. And that's definitely a method from Kemet.
100. You know what? We're literally touching on the last two elements. I think we just literally touched on the last two elements of the amulets section, literally. So real quickly, the last amulet in terms of the four up here is the wares, okay, which is literally the headrest where you would rest your head at night and where you wake up in the morning as well. It also represents, in terms of representation, represents literally, the head. It literally represents the Ra itself, the Ra principle, the creative and active principle of the nature, okay, of the nature itself. Your head is literally Ra. It's your consciousness. Your head is literally consciousness. Your head is literally the God aspect within inside of you. That, my brother, Virtue was talking about the imagination, that is right there. When you go to bed at night and you sleep and you dream, what are you constructing in your dreams? Who are you reaching out to in your dreamlike state? You know, what entities are you in contact with? What things are you producing in your mind that you now coming up on your day-to-day journey of waking up in the morning? And what are you creating? What are you uttering? What are your authoritative utterance? What are you perceiving? What are you perceiving to utter? You know, that is fundamental. What are you planning for the day? What is your blueprint for the day? What is your plan for the day? How are you going to make this world better this day and the next day and so forth? How are you going to do ma'at? How are you going to do reciprocity? How are you going to take the elements that the forces of nature have already provided for you? How are you going to reconstruct those things and deliver it to your people, or deliver it to nature itself? That's very, very important. You know, next principle down here, as you can see, as well, I don't know if you all can see it, is the principle of the Shawabti. You know, the principle of the Shawabti. The Shawabti is literally those individuals, or those, you know, when you're in the afterlife or in the next world, which is really this world, you know, you have the Shawabti principle, where whenever it's time to do work, you know, they're there to do the work for you. So what system, what model are you constructing that other people can actually be employed underneath your own care? What can you give them? What can you offer them? What type of economic system can you set up where everybody is winning, where the consumers are winning, where the employees are winning, where the suppliers are winning, where the distributors are winning, where the directors are winning, where the investors are winning, where the shareholders are winning? This is what you need to be doing. This is the concept of the warez, which is your headrest. How you rest your head at night. You know, some people, you know, they're not sleeping easy. Their consciousness has literally been taken away from them. They're in a walking, you know, literally, they're in the walking dead. They're unconscious of actually being conscious. They're unconscious of being conscious. What we're trying to do right now is to make you conscious again. We're trying to wake you up and make you become a divine being, a Ptah-like human being that can call things into existence, that can create things, that can build things, and not only create and build things, but create and build things for your own community, and not for your own community just to thrive on, but people outside of your community that you can actually sell to. How can you make the whole world better again, but yet still get some economic returns? Because a lot of people, there's a lot of poor righteous teachers. We ain't trying to teach that. We're trying to make sure that you're financially free. This is Kemetic doctrine, you know. This is Kemetic teachings right here. Your whole purpose, you know, once you're divine, you're not supposed to work like that again. You're only supposed to work because you want to work, or you will to work, because you want to actually offer more into the community. Not because you have to work, not because you're trapped into the system to work, but because you enjoy doing what you're doing. But go ahead, King. I know, Asar, I know you most probably got some, you know, spells or formulas to read out, like, you know, spell 161 and a few other spells to actually give some clarity to the Warez, and also to do with the Shawabtis as well, if you can.
Man, when you talk about the headrest in particular, you want to go to Hem 166 in your book of Coming Forth by Day. I'm gonna just hit them small time right now. It says, "May the pigeons awaken you when you are asleep, O Asar." It says "in." That's because they would fill in the word Asar and put the name of the Asar, the person who passed away, in that particular text. It says, "May they awaken your head at the horizon. Raise yourself so that you may be triumphant over what was done against you. For Ptah has felled your enemies, and it is commanded that action be taken against those who would harm you. You are Heru, son of Het-Heru, the male and female fiery serpents, to whom was given a head after it had been cut off. Your head shall not be taken from you afterwards. Your head shall not be taken from you forever." So it's telling you, you got to defend yourself. You got to defend yourself. You can't rest your head if you don't defend yourself. Nor should you allow those who would harm your culture or your hood, when they're stealing and being unma'at like, and you haven't had to the jet, the backbone to stand up against them, you shouldn't allow them to rest their heads peacefully without having a discussion, not just by yourself, not just violently by stepping to them, but as a community. Have you gathered several of your friends to approach those who do bad things, to have a basic discussion about why do you rob people in the hood? You know, we just as poor as you. Why would you do such a thing? What's going on? What's happening in your household, family? Do you do things like that anymore? Because we used to do them back in the day. The Black Panthers wasn't having that. They wasn't having that. The folks and the family in Chicago, they wasn't having that. They was moving around the hood so that they could make sure everybody was okay. They were trying to build programs economically. The only part that I don't like that Fred Hampton didn't do is accept money so that he could start that bank. Because I think a lot of things would have changed had that bank been established. Doing to talk to the people in your neighborhood, to see the whys, the whats. I did something very, I don't even like to speak on it like that, but it was a brave act because we got Crips and Bloods out here and they was tripping in the 80s. And I had to go to both sides. I had to go to both sides by myself, occasionally with my cousin who was scared. And I told him, I said, man, we gotta stop this. And so we DJ'd and we MC'd. So we did a freedom rally. We didn't know if a bunch of people would get shot. A whole lot of cops showed up, but we packed the house and it looked like a sea of red and blue when they was throwing their rags up. And for a time, before somebody else did something stupid, because I didn't have the means to economically appease, of course, I didn't know how to provide a job at that time for my brothers and sisters. We stopped the violence. We quelled the beef. We stopped the nonsense with Ma'at. What have you done in your hood? What are you willing to do in your hood if you haven't done it already? Because the dudes we was around had AK-47. They had all that. They was shooting. I went in there unarmed and did my thing. People like Didier Drogba, who went to both parties in Cote d'Ivoire and prayed to both sides and said, stop this. He quelled the beef for a little bit. He squashed it. But after the beef is squashed, will you help come up with the solution or will you type something silly? Where's your heart at? Where's your ab when it comes time to really go do these things? Who are your affiliations with? And do you have any sway over their thinking? Do you have any code of ethics? See, a lot of people don't want to be religious. A lot of people don't get down like that. But at the same time, you have a bad mouth. You have bad aspects to you. You have disrespectful tendencies. I just lost my brother TC Islam to somebody with disrespectful tendencies. Shout out to Poppy and your cause. But it's a lot of people out here who are murderers and killers and this, that, the other. Do you have the heart to go to your hood with the message that can move them and stop them from doing what they're doing? Remet's lifestyle gives that to me. I don't know what it affords for you. But you need to step to the plate. We need to see your deject, your backbone. We need to see them. We need to see you bathed in the blood. The knot of Aset. I need to see some heart from you, your ab, or you will have no place to rest your head. Because you say the hood is bad as it is. So holler back and get in the fold. Uncle Johnson, life, strength, and health.
Jeez, my brother. All right. You know what? We're literally reaching the end of the show. We're going to continue, but we're literally reaching the end of the show. Because, boy, I'm sure we're hitting over into the 2-hour mark right now. I just wanted to quickly finish off. I know we have a particular formula or recital from the Book of the Dead. or the Pet Mheru, which we haven't actually read out, which is dealing with the Shawabti, one of the fifth icons itself. So let's just quickly do that, and then we can move on. So it says here, the presentation of the Shabti or the Shawabti. N says, so the person says, "Oh Shabti, if I am summoned or counted off in the realm of the Amduat for any work, indeed obstacles are implanted there as a man at his duties, whether to make arable the fields, to flood the banks, or to convey sand from west to east. The response should be, here am I." Okay, so there should be somebody. You should set up something where other people can actually do the work. Not that you can't do. You're fully capable of doing it, but that you choose to give to somebody else to do. Okay, so you should set up an economic base where you can get other people to do the work for you, and for them to be economically remunerated as well. And just to close it, just to close it off, we usually have the Jed pillar, but for this sake, for us, for the Jed pillar, okay, the Jed pillar for us, especially over here in the UK, in terms of our KMTS, or in terms of our particular center or cultural center, which is the Kemetic Transformational Society, or the Kemetic Transformational Shemsu, the followers of that. We have the Jed pillar, which deals with, as you can see, I don't know if you can see it, but you've got the four lines, and then the three in between there is calculates up to the number 7, which is to do with our Kemetic creed, or the Kemetic Ked, or Aked, or Kedu, which literally means our nature, our disposition, the things that builds us, our building blocks itself. So these are our building blocks to make us, how can I put it, can make us stable, in essence, to do with our own philosophy in terms of Ma'at. And the Kemetic philosophy, we have 7 different portions or dispositions that makes us or unites us on all fronts. The first one is Gnosis, which means knowledge or science, and that it is the science or knowledge of ourselves. Know thyself, know the mysteries of the universe, and thou shalt know God. Okay, or you shall know the Necher or Necheru. The second principle is theology. Our theology is that the Necheru or Necher or God is one, creator of all things, and all things continue to depend upon him in elements, in the hierarchy of beings. Then a third one is our cosmological outlook, which is the cosmological outlook. I'm not even going to go into detail with that, because that goes into, the intelligible realm, the sensible realm, and how, all things are also codependent upon each other in terms of the sun, giving out certain energies to the planets, to the stars, and so forth, to the earth, which we are all dependable as human beings, to the energies that help to grow our plants, our food, etc., etc., etc. Then the fourth element is obviously to do with our ancestry or anthropology, which deals with venerating the ancestors and also revering the Black land and its people. Okay, so we have to make sure we have our holy sites, we have our sacred sites, which is the Black lands, which is Africa, which is Kemet, which is other portions of the land that our people dwell in, whether it's in Nigeria. If you're a Nigerian, that should be your holy land. That should be your place of pilgrimage, a place where you go back and return to and connect with the ancestors. Find your divine land, find your divine home, and go back to it. Then obviously we have the other 3 elements, which is to do with our pedagogy. Our pedagogy is the things that guide us and lead us down the right path, and we find those guidance through, number 1, the medu nature, or the expressions of nature, or the voice of nature, the words of nature. We're talking about literally nature itself. We're not actually talking about the codified form yet. We're talking about nature. We're talking about the sun, the moon, the stars, the planets, the animals. All of those things there help us to guide us. When we see the sun rise, we know that's time for us to wake up. We don't even need an alarm clock. Most of us, as soon as that sun begins to rise, or even before it begins to rise, we wake up on that. We listen to the sound of nature. We listen to the music that's been played in the mornings. We can hear the birds singing and chirping and dancing around. So what do we do in the mornings? We wake up, we rise, we shine, and we give thanks and praise. We have an attitude of gratitude in the morning. We sing those praises to those forces that we are grateful for waking us up, and so forth. And of course, at nighttime, we know it's time for us to sleep. All those different type of concepts there. We can see the animals at certain portions of the day dipping themselves into water water and shaking themselves and bathing themselves. We know that cleanliness is the closest thing to godliness. We know these things. We learn these things via nature. Nature teaches us how to build houses. It teaches us how to have sexual relationships, etc. We can study these things. You know, we could be guided by these things, etc., etc. And of course, after that, we have the physical human form, or we have what we would consider to be, you know, our priests or our prophets or our translators of the divine forces of the words of nature, who give it to us in a physical, literal sense to help us in our guidance. These individuals usually pen or codify these things on with the meta nature, or literally the hieroglyphs themselves that are written upon the temples, the tombs, you know, the steles, the pyramids, all of those things there. And we are guided by these literature. We're guided by the pyramid text, the coffin text, the Book of the Dead, or the Pertem Heru, the declarations of virtues, the declarations of innocence, the books of breathing, the book of the day, the book of the night, the book of the earth, the book of the caverns, the book of the Amdawat, all sorts. These are all of our scriptures that we utilize to be guided by. And of course, we're guided also by the Ahu, the effective ancestors, our scribes, our learnt ones, the people that help us to school us and teach us to be better, effective on this earth and on in the beyond as well. So these are our guidance systems. And after that, we have our fifth element, which is our sixth element, which is to do with our ethics. You know, we have our ethics, our virtues. How do we, you know, guide ourselves in terms of how do we relate to our fellow man? How do we relate to nature? How do we relate to the higher divine principles within inside of nature as well? Usually these things are actually codified in what we know as the 42 negative confessions, or the 42 admonitions, or the declarations of innocence. And we usually state things like, I have not stolen. I have not made another person cry. I have not made another person, you know, I've not got angry or made another person be grieved. I've not killed another person, etc., etc. I've not slept with somebody else's, you know, a woman basically, or a partner. You know, we have all of these different codified expressions to know what is right from wrong, what is ma'at from isfet. So we have those things. And the seventh, you know, aspect as well is our eschatology. We all know, you know, at the end of our life, there will be a day of standing. There will be a day of reckoning where our heart will be judged upon the scales, and Ma'at's feather will be, you know, judging us. You know, will be the counterbalance. Is our life living up to our ethical disposition? Is it living up to who we are supposed to be when we are born? Our meschenent, our renenten. Are we living up to our name? Are we living up to our divine purpose and characteristics and so forth? All of these things we know we will be judged upon, you know, at the point of death, or after our death, should I say? You know, and we would now, you know, hope. You know, we hope, and we should be proven to be ma'acheru, true of voice, so that we will, you know, inherit the fields of eternal life. In that respect, we will become an achu, being effective in the heart hereafter to those people who are on earth. There ain't no point of having some eternal life if you're not actually being effective to those people who are still living. What's the point of that? But that's how the Kemetic philosophy runs. So these are the 7 different things that build up our Jed pillar, build up our backbones, that keep us stable, keep us content, especially for the KMTS over here in the UK. So, you know, let me just finish off. So yeah, so hopefully, you know, we've given you like a whole list of things. You know, a lot of people have been asking for this Hunico, been asking for, you know, how can we actually go forward now and teach other people, or bring other people to the truth of the Kemetic philosophy, or bring people back to learning more about themselves. You don't need to simply hold on to the Kemetic philosophy or way of living, but just go back. You know, if you're from, you know, these different parts of the land, go back to Baka, go back to the Mali, go back to the Dogons, go back to you know, the Yoruba, the Igbo, you know, the House, wherever you are from, man. Go back to it. Go back to Ghana, go back to the Fanti, go back to the Ashanti, go back to the Akans. Go learn yourself, go learn your history, go learn your heritage, and be proud of it. You know, don't feel as though, you know, you don't fit into the three monotheistic religions or the Abrahamic faith, that you're somehow inferior or so forth. Be proud in who and what you are, man. Your history, your culture, your heritage is a powerful one. Don't let anybody belittle who and what you are. But anyway, family, let's quickly round up. So whoever wants to jump in right now, jump on before we round up and shut down.
Yo, yeah, nah, I just wanted to say, nah, that was big, man. Me personally, I just wanted to say, yeah, it's been a big show. You know what I mean? This show here tonight needs to get shared. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of information that was being given out, a lot of medicine that's been given out. And then hopefully we can start seeing some healing taking place. As you can say, obviously we can see the trolls are still being their trolls. But today's message was great, man. The energy was good, and the ancestors I'm sure the ancestors are looking now. They're proud of what me and the brothers have put down today. And let the medicine flow. Let the medicine flow, you know. And we live, baby. We back, baby. You know, that's the medicine team. You know, that's how it goes.
Oh man, yo, what's up? What you saying, King?
Man, Unquas the Jed, life, stability, and strength. Be strong. You know, the Remet's lifestyle. I'm a heck in the chair, man. I praise the divine. You will do what you do at the end of the day. But remember, if you are cowardly in the face of crimes, if you are cowardly in the face of righteousness and standing up, you have to bear witness to that. You know, you have to live with those things. You have to live trying to be somebody else instead of being yourself. Right now, today, you're observing 4 men who are comfortable with being ourselves. And not only are we being ourselves, most of us have carved out our own economic lifestyles. So we're not reliant on somebody else to provide our food for us. We handle business as grown men. You know, I run a business as well as work for another business because I like to maximize my dollars. He on a slave plantation and he making more money than you, and he run his own circuit. You know, so if I want to get away from this particular lifestyle, I can get up and go do it. Can you? Can you? Are you nature? Or are you nothing? Because that's what you are when you fall victim to somebody else's paradigm and their workaround. So, you know, pick up your own, you know, and put it in correlation with other people's. This way you bring the connection. You don't have to be hateful just because you make moves on your own. And you don't have to hate people who make moves on their own. There's a lot of haters, you know. Oh, this Kemet, the fake Kemets, please. Every time you step to the plate to debate one of us, you get sat down. You get sat down. So it's not about your knowledge. It's not about your knowledge. It's about making a way and carving a path for yourself and respecting another person's paradigm. If you can't respect mine, how can I respect yours, right? And we should always be good kith and kin. All that wrapped in a bundle, and I'm done. Uncle Justin.
Uncle Justin. Hey, yo, Virtue, you saying, King? Because you know what? I know the family want to do a quick little, I can do another half an hour for a little quick after show bit where we can, you know, wrap it up and, you know, talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. I can see there's a lot of debaters up in the comment section. So if you guys think you got some type of information, you already know what to do. You already know the drill. If you want to come on, come on. If you want to ask some questions inside of the comment section, ask your questions, okay? But we're going to officially close out the show after Virtue. Yeah, but we're going to continue going on so y'all can ask your questions or jump on the panel. So Virtue, you got any closing words?
Yeah, I'm going to keep it short and sweet like how I began speaking. I'm going to just end it like that. I am you, guided.
Jeez, strong, powerful. If you ain't already subscribed, please hit the subscribe button down below for my channel and of course for Virtue TV as well. And boy, I know y'all seeing the clothing, right? I know y'all seeing the clothing, right? I know y'all seeing the clothing, right? Let me just do this real quickly. Let me just share my screen real quickly. And damn, son, this is it right here. Our Story Fashion, okay? OurStoryFashion.com. This is where you need to go. Shop. It's got your shop. If you want your conscious sweaters, hoodies, t-shirts, he's and hers, the thrones, whatever, man, gallery, the education side of things. Jeez. Yeah, let me just show y'all a little something. You know, y'all need to come in, man. Check it out, okay? Check it out. As you can see, we got brothers and sisters from all around, you know, repping our own culture, repping our own symbols. As you can see there, you know, we got the Africa right there. We've got the Eye of Heru or the Eye of Ra. right there. We're repping our symbols, repping the wajet. Learn about your history, learn about your culture, learn about your symbols, and be proud. Okay, be proud to be able to rep your own culture and your own symbols. When they ask you, let them ask you, because they're going to be curious. Like, what is that? Is that the Illuminati? Now you have an opportunity to actually teach them. Now you have an opportunity to do Hunico to them. Now you have the opportunity, because you know what? Our symbols are very curious, very, very curious. Now that opens up the doorway for you to actually give them some type of education, to give them some type of ma'ah, give them some type of truth, give them some type of knowledge, give them that reh, okay? Give them that knowledge. Give it to them, because they need to know. They need to know about their history. They need to know about their heritage. They need to know about their culture. They need to know about their identity. And this is an excellent pathway or gateway to teach them by rocking your symbols. All right. So now, thank you anyway, guys, for tuning in. This has been Talk with the Titans. I'm signing out. Peace, love, and everything like that. So, you guys, if you want to come in, let me know who wants to come in, and y'all know how to come in. If you've got any questions for us, because we're only going to be here for another half an hour, okay? This section might not even be aired. So if you want to be here and ask some questions, jump on and let us know. Let's just read some of the comments real quickly. Is anything worth reading? So Sphinx, where it says, powerful Kalam, I'm on the same train with you, brother. That's love. Thanks to Kalam and the panel for the show. Love to my brother Ansir as well. Let's see it. Let's see it. So everybody says it's a good show. They're grateful for it. What we saying, family? Have you heard of the Dogon people of Mali and their legends? Yes, we have. I don't know if anybody here wants to break down or, give, not even a breakdown, just give a quick overview of the Dogon and how they are related. Just give a little quick breakdown of the Dogon, and their system as well, with the Sirius, being the first people, or one of the first people to actually be acknowledging a particular star system that wasn't visible to the naked eye. It wasn't apparent to the naked eye. And only via telescopes in the last, I don't know how many years, 30 years, they were able to actually see it. I don't know if anybody's got some information on that. Can you break it down real quickly?
Yeah, the Dogon actually saw 3 orbits around that particular area, which they've only, so far with our telescopes, only seen 2. So it's interesting to know what the Dogon count as another orbit, I believe they said. So there's 3, I believe it's the orbit, yeah. I think they said there's 3 around that sun, around Sirius, and then they I can't remember the other portion, but I know that scientifically that somehow made its way into the Quran, which was interesting to me, which they count as one of the miracles of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which I had a discussion with one of the Muslim brothers concerning the star. So it's kind of ironic.
Yeah, and there's been, I was reading some articles as well in French. Actually, it was actually a French article talking about the Dogons and how they're actually related to the priesthood of Jehuti, and being an offshoot, or possibly the antecedent. I'm getting my words mixed up. Antecedent for the Hermopolis school of thought, or they share in the same type of cosmology as well. So it's very interesting, I know Gabs that was reading it out. I actually made the PDF out of the article. Actually, I should actually get it out to the family, but we'll do that another time. So yeah, very interesting. The Dogons did their thing. Check out another channel. We have a brother. What's his name? Dynastar. I think it's Dynastar. Something like that. The brother actually goes and visits various different places within inside of Africa, and he loves visiting Mali, loves touching base with the Dogon people. He does a very beautiful interview with one of the Hogons, or one of the priests there as well. So check it out. He's very active inside of the community. So please check that out for more further information. I'm getting tired, King. I'm getting tired. So what are you saying? And I know we've got pure Muslims up in here. So yeah, if you Muslims want to actually ask a question, you're free to. If you want to debate something or question something, you're free to. Just simply tag Titans TV. And if you want to come onto the panel, y'all know what need to do. Just literally go onto Google Plus and add me. If you haven't already added me, inbox me, and then I'll put you onto the link and you can join the panel. But other than that, you know, let's keep it flowing. Jeez, where you at, Gabs? Where you at, G? At this time, ha! Oh boy.
I was on the roadside, B. Trust me. You know what I mean?
Is that Morley's, that late night Morley's, yeah? That's not my at. That's not my at. All right, cool. Let's see. He said he's not. Okay, cool. So you see me, yeah. I'm nice, you know. I'm real nice. I don't even need to be staying up any much more longer than this. If any brothers on the panel want to say anything, please do. Otherwise, I'm trying to keep this show real, cut the show real like early. Real early. So you saying, family, you got anything to say?
I think we done laid it down. Virtue, what you talking about, family? I'm gonna tell the brother, matter of fact, before I relinquish it, right? Surah 49, no, Surah An-Najm 9 and 49 talk about the Asher, and Quran verse Surah 53:49 talk about the Sirius star, Sirius A, and the orbits around it, orbiting the eclipse, and another one, I believe. And I'm just pulling from my brain right now. But yeah, you know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I see my purest Muslims in the building. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was supposedly bringing that out as one of the miracles, and he brought it forth first, but we had the Dogon with it first. You got to pay homage to the Dogon first, family. That's who had it first. Yeah, true Uhuru, as my man Saeed the Scorpion would say.
Jeez. All right. So you know what I'm gonna do right now? I'm actually gonna close the show down and I'm gonna post the link, okay, inside of the chat room. Of course, I want to close the show down first, yeah, because we know that there is some serious trolls and hackers that don't want to see Titans TV prevailing and they want to shut us down. So unfortunately, this bit is gonna go off air. But if you do want to join us, I'm gonna be posting the link literally right now. But anyways, peace and love, family, and happy Ethiopian New Year. Peace and love.
Cheapest one.